Kalvin will be telling you about the roof part, and I'll be telling you about the other things.
That's because she was not up on the roof.
I was on the last day.
Last day.
Okay, so this is the fellowship hall. It's just down the hill, just a little bit from the church. And Fairfield is just a small town. It's quite a cute little town. It's dominated by huge grain elevators. And one of the things that the women did was the church has a community garden, and it's quite large, probably half as big as this church, as the sanctuary. And they grow potatoes and greens and tomatoes and all cucumbers and all sorts of things, and they give that food to the community. So one of the days that we were there, those potatoes were ready to dig, and they had a tractor that came in and dug them and kind of laid partly up on top. And so those of us who were working in the kitchen and finished went out there and picked up those potatoes and bagged them up. And they estimated we had between 500 and 600 pounds. We put them in the tractor, and then he would take them and I'd put them in the truck. And then the girls went and took them and put them on a bench outside the post office in Fairfield, which was just like 5 blocks away or so. And we went for a walk that evening. Every one of those potatoes were gone. And these are just a few pictures I took. We walked through the wheat fields, among the wheat fields, and it was just really pretty, so I stuck those in. And that was somebody who had hay, and we had been taken to a garden on Sabbath afternoon. It was beautiful, and these are just a few pictures that we snapped there. A very pretty garden.
That was the Japanese part of it. And I was very thankful that God created me with the ability to see colors.
These were the friends that were there. These ladies were church members, except for the lady in the green. She was the Maranatha project manager. Her name was Gail, and they were the ones. We all went to that park together on Sabbath afternoon. It was lovely.
This is what the roof looked like when I first got up on it Sunday morning. They had ripped off the old roof on Friday, and this is what was left. And so we had to start with just that roof. The sleepers that you see, the boards, is what we put on Sunday on both sides. Sleepers were every little bit, and then you can see I was blowing off all the debris off of the roof.
And there was a lot of it.
Here you can see Teresa and I were carrying these sheeting that we laid on top of the sleepers. You'll see in the picture of that shortly, but there we go. This is where the sheeting was being put on, and you can see we're pretty much done with the whole roof. The one side you can see when it was all done. So I was up on the roof and I took a picture of it when we were completely done with the sheeting. And that's the church that you see there from the fellowship hall. And you can see the wheat fields out there. That's where we went for our walks. Very peaceful. And then the next thing that happened was this ice thing. Very often with composition shingles, you put a black felt down. This was for metal and for tile. And it has a stickum on the back side, and so you roll it out. You can see the roll on the one side. You line it up very carefully, and you pull out the plastic from underneath it, and then it sticks. And my job was to go along and kind of roll it with like a paintbrush type of roller to stick it down on the roof. So we did that. And then we started laying the 26-foot pieces of metal, and that's one when we were just starting, and then you could see where we pretty much had finished it. The one on the left-hand side, you can see we had a system going. If I were to describe it there, Chris was the one in the black there. He would go along and he'd drill the holes, and then John and Dakota would come along and put screws on it. And my job was to, when we laid that metal on top of the other metal, was to bang that blue section right down on top of it. And we got to the place where we could lay one of those sheets in about 3.5 to 4 minutes. And I took that picture. We got up on the roof at 5:30 in the morning because the temperatures were getting up to the 95 to 100 degree temperatures later in the afternoon. So we all got up there before the sun rose, and I waited until just before the sun came up to take that orange glow there, and it turned out really nice. And then you can see what it looked like when we were pretty much done, and on the right hand side, you can see that they're starting to put the ridge cap on there. This instrument you see to the left is what we used working along the edge of the roof, and also Gail was lifted up in that to take pictures. She was the coordinator for that. And here you see a lady that was brave enough to ride up there onto the roof. And actually they got all the ladies up onto the roof that had been mostly working down in the kitchen, and they saved the last little bit and gave everyone a chance to screw in a screw in the roof, including one of the local ladies there, Lisa, and that's Dakota showing her how to do it. And they saved a few screw places along the ridge cap and let everybody on the crew had a chance to be a part of putting that roof on.
At least one screw.
This is the group of the guys that were working on, and one girl worked on the roof, and we kept at it for 7 hours a day, and we finished at 10 o'clock on Friday morning.
Okay, and then when all of us were up on the roof and we had all gotten to put our little screws in and with help, and Teresa, the lady that was working up there, suggested, let's have prayer and let's have a dedication. And so we did. We all held hands and prayed for the church and the community and all of the members there. And this young man was running that lift that took us all up and down, so we didn't have to go up that ladder.
It was his idea to get up there and do a view so that everybody could see who was participating in that program.
But I would like to add to that I highly recommend a Maranatha trip. It was wonderful.